My people, my people. Good morning, undefeated. How you guys doing, man? I am Coach Sean. I am back in the house. Really missed you guys, man. Really missed you guys. If you guys can hear me, please give me a thumbs up. If you can hear me, if the audio is okay, please give your boy a thumbs up or thumbs down, depending on such. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. Thank you, Rich B. I appreciate you, brother. Man, listen, I'm gonna kill that music and turn it down here in just a second. First of all, let me say good morning to everybody, man. How you guys doing? Chris from New Jersey, what's up, bro? Rich B, what's up with you, brother? Brian Thomas, what up, bro? How you feeling, man? Roll Tide to you. Jeremy Sanders, what's up, my friend? How you guys doing? Kimberly Harmon, how are you? Good to see you guys, man. Missed you guys this past week. Really happy and excited to tap in with you and see how you doing. See how you guys been cracking. See what's been cracking in your lives, man. Right? Travelpreneur Sportscast, my broski. What's up with you, my boy? A-Time for sure. And I ain't talking about it loud. You know what I'm saying? LaQuasia, what's up with you? The decor queen. You need decor for your home. Make sure you holler at LaQuasia. Beautiful family, for sure. How you guys doing, man? Megan, what's up with you? Rich B, as I said, is in the house. Ruben Poole, what's up with you, bro? How you feeling, man? Roll Tide to you, man. Chris from New Jersey, the absolute awesomest caller, right, is here. Austin French is in here. What's up, Austin? Dub T is in here. WT. Ahmad Beatty's in here. Roll Tide, Ahmad. Cat Pool is in here. What's up, Cat Pool? Please, if you guys can, I hate to sound like a podcaster, but we got to say it. Please, if you guys get a chance on your way in, please hit the like button. Please, if you will. It really helps the video extenuate in the algorithm and gets it out for everybody to tap in with us, man. So if you guys can, please hit that like button on your way in. Zachary Wiggles is in the house. Wilgis, I don't want to say your last name wrong, Zachary. Please show me how that's pronounced so I can give you the proper respect. Mickey Pate, what's up, Mickey? How you doing, bro? Marquita, my neighbor, is in the house. Much love to you from my whole family, for sure. Who else we got in here? Patriot Life, my broski from another Moski. A Moski is a mother, right? That's my broski from another Moski. Shout out to Patriot Life, man. That's my brother right there, man. Much love to you, Patriot Life, right? How you guys doing, man? I'm tapping in with you, man. Really missed you guys, man, for sure. We are here. That's what it is. Kimberly Harmon is in the house. Listen, if Kimberly's here, if Chris from New Jersey's here, if Joseph Davidson is here, we got to get this thing cracking, man. Much love to you guys, man. You know, I hope you guys' morning is going well, right? Who else we got in here, man? Who else we got? Dino. What's up, Dino? Good morning, my brother. How you feeling? How you doing? Good to see you. Walt Albright is in the house. What's up, Walt? How you doing, man? Early morning, bro. We in here, right? Yeah, man. Shout out to you guys, man. I'm glad you tapped in. It's a pleasure to be back with you again. Let me turn this music down just a bit. Yeah, I'm glad to be back with you guys, man. For sure. Jeff, what's up, Jeff? How you doing, brother? Roll Tide to you, man. Roll Tide to you. Please hit that like button. Nicole Covington is in the house. Much love, Nicole. I appreciate you. I'm glad to see you. Thank you for tapping in with your boy. Todd is in the house, right? Kimberly says, I stayed up all night watching the NFL draft on TV last night. Yeah, I did too. I was anxious to see where all the guys went. And I did too, Kimberly. I stayed up and checked it out. My brother Patriot Life, my broski from another Moski, right? Welcome back, my brother Sean. Have a great Friday, family. Much love and roll tide roll. Much love to the leader right there, Patriot Life. That's my brother, man. Thank you, Patriot Life, for that $50 super chat. You know how we feel about you, brother. You know the entire staff appreciate that. That's a whole fact, man. But by the way, shout out to the staff, man. Shout out to Kyle. Shout out to Lady T. Shout out to my brothers, Coach Jay. Shout out to Coach Smoot. You know what I'm saying? Who's doing big things with his kids right now. Shout out to him, man, on that road. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to the man himself, Ty Hayes, who'll be tapping in pretty soon with us. Just shout out to all those guys, man. They do an awesome job, right? And I feel privileged and honored to be tapped in with those guys. And shout out to the brother right there, Patriot Life, man. That's our bro. That's a family member right there. Thank you, Patriot Life. You know we appreciate you more than you know, man. Thank all of you. Much love to the undefeated. Much love to the undefeated, man. You guys are freaking awesome, brother. So, you know, I'm not gonna worry you long, but I do want to tap in with you on a few things that we found out last night. A few things that you know, came across the desk as we watched the NFL draft last night. Shout out to Max Tree. Max Tree, what's up, bro? Shout out to the brother Jared. Jared, how you feeling, man? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you up in the house. Please don't forget to hit that like button if you guys can on your way in. You know what I'm saying? And let's get this video cracking. Stephen Hicks, how are you, brother? It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. Roll Tide to you, Stephen. You know what I'm saying? Jeff says, I think Terrion is going to be in the best place to play. Yeah, Terrion went to a great team with some great coaches and a lot of great teammates, man. Right? Terrion that's why I say sometimes, man, it's better to go slightly late and just lose just a little money in the draft than it is to go super high in the draft and go to a sucky team and eventually lose money in the future because you're so bad and possibly get cut if you're not playing well. So he definitely did well. Bama Fan 95, my broski. What's up, bro? How you feeling, man? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, man. Good to see you up in the house. Roll Tide to you, family, for sure. I was sort of upset, man, that Kool-Aid didn't go first round. T-Town Trisha, good morning. How are you? You know what I'm saying? I was sort of upset by that, Marquita. I was sort of upset that Kool-Aid didn't get picked. It was two other defensive backs that went before Kool-Aid. The defensive back from Ohio, not Ohio State, but Ohio, and a defensive back from Clemson, right? So, man, I had heard that Kool-Aid had lost a little steam with the injury and things whatnot. But at this point, Kool-Aid is a steal, right? At this point, whoever gets Kool-Aid, it's a steal, man. It's an absolute steal at this point. Darius Fontaine, University of Georgia's finest troll, is in the house. What's up, Darius? How you feeling, bro? Hope your day going well, my friend, for sure. Adam Lamparello, my broski. What up, Adam? How you doing, bro? Good to see you, man. Good to see you up in the house, brother. Man, Nicole, thank you. Nicole had the best comment of the day, I will admit. She said, where you at, Nicole? Where you go? There you go. She said, I hope that the Steelers get him. Man, if we get, man, listen, that is a steal. I'm not sure when our next pick is. But I would love for them to trade up and get Kool-Aid, considering Levi, I think, went to the Broncos, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We lost Levi. Antonio Snell, yeah, Toledo. That's what it was. You're right, Antonio, not Ohio, Toledo. I stand corrected. That's right, Antonio. 1,000% facts. The cornerback from Toledo and the cornerback from Clemson went before Kool-Aid. And I was like, wow, right? So I'm not sure if it's just the injury, but I'll say this, man, and I don't want to put false narratives out there. This is not a fact. This is just Coach Sean's humble opinion. This is just my humble opinion. Does not make it correct. I've been doing these drafts for a long time right now, man. And one thing this league, the NFL, has shown me, if you are too unless you are just a Randy Moss, Deion Sanders, I mean, really, really transcendent generational player. The NFL frown on, how can I say it? They frown on things when they feel that you're trying to make yourself look like a star, right? The pulling up in the Lambo and or whatever the kind of car that was. The NFL, for some reason, frown on that. I'm telling you, they do. Like they don't like that, man. And I'm not sure that's the reason. But the NFL is a dirty league, man. That league is a lot of backdoor stuff going. The NFL is different than most leagues, man. You know, they have a system. All the owners are in a collective together. Hey, man, don't pick such and such. You know, don't. They do that. They do that in that league, man. They'll try to send you a message in that league. That league's a little different. So the quieter, more outgoing, more about football they see you are, the better you help your own status. The louder, the more look at me you are, the NFL will hate on you. This is a whole fact. Those coaches talk to one another. Those GMs talk to one another. And before they issue you a $15 million check, they want to make sure football is the number one thing on your mind. All facts. Shout out to Adam Lamparillo, who just became a YouTube member, Kyle Bama Football on YouTube member. Much love to Adam. Hey, man, shout out to you, Adam. You know, you've been around a long time, brother. We all know you. Man, you know, family just stays family. That's what it is. Shout out to Adam, man. I appreciate you for sure. Darius Fontaine, our resident UGA Bama fan, says the Bama killer A.D. Mitchell slipped to the second round. Hey, A.D. Mitchell's a great player, man. He's a great player. I think he's sort of one-dimensional. He's a deep threat. I don't remember A.D. Mitchell catching any high lows, any meshes. To be a first-round receiver, you got to have the full package, right? That's why I was shocked, you know, unless you run 4.2, right? Like my man from Texas, like his teammate, Xavier Worthy, who doesn't catch a lot of mesh routes, doesn't catch a lot of things over the middle. Deep threat for sure, right? But I guess when you run 4.27, you can't turn that down, right? So yeah, I'm not shocked to see him slip, Darius. I'm not shocked. Stephen Murray 19, what's up with your brother? Antonio Snell is in the house. David Mills is in the house. Kosi is in the house. What's up, Kosi? How you feeling, brother? Roll Tide to you. Joshua Ray is in the house. Please hit that like button, guys, if you can. It's really appreciated from the entire staff. Trevor Pannier says, my brother says, I hope Kool-Aid does great in the NFL, but I never saw what everybody else seen in him. Yeah, Kool-Aid had his spots. I think his freshman and sophomore years were better. I do believe. I'm not sure what it was, man. Kool-Aid played man coverage very, very well. Sometimes he got lost in the sauce if you constantly threw at him, right? But at this point, I do believe, I agree with you. He is a steal at this point. Second round, right? On a cornerback who had a first round grade, whoever get him is a steal, right, Marquita? T-Town Trisha, you already know. So when I look at the draft grades from these teams, man, so far, it's just been one round, right? But I was shocked. I was shocked at the abundance of offensive players who went, right? I think it was what, the 15th pick, maybe 15th or 16th pick before we even had a defensive player picked. That's very, very rare. But it also shows you credit that the NFL is an offensive league. It's a passing league, right? They want the quarterbacks, right? They want the receivers. They want guys who can score points and extend plays and do things like that and put points on the board. The NFL is a passing league. Dino, shout out to Dino, who just became a new member. Dino, roll tide to you. I love that picture, man. Great picture. Shout out to you. We appreciate you, fam. Much love and thank you for joining the Undefeated. That's a whole fact. Yeah, I feel the same way, Travis Pannier. I feel the same way, man. The NFL is about offense right now. Roll Tide, Ronnie Jones, how you doing, man? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you up in the house. Rich B says 23 offensive players in the first round total out of what, 32 picks? Wow. Wow, that is crazy, man. I don't think we've ever seen that, right? So before I even get on the grades, guys, I want to know what you guys think about this. I made a post last night, and while I'm paraphrasing, what I said was the Falcons just gave Kirk Cousins a 4-year, $180 million deal, right? With $100 million guaranteed. So that's going to tie up about 45-ish a year for one position, right? Then you turn around and draft a quarterback with your first pick, a pick that you need other things with. You need secondary help. You need pass rusher help. You need D-line help. You need wide receiver help. So you tie up $45 million in a 30-something-year-old quarterback who's been injury prone. Then you turn around and take another quarterback in the first round who's talented, but also been injury prone. This kid has had ACL surgeries on both knees, right? Great year at Washington. Can't take that from him. If you're basing it on just what he did at Washington, hey, you can't take nothing from that kid, right? But you tie up $40+ million in a 30-something-year-old quarterback who the Vikings probably would have traded anyway, possibly, right, to get younger. Not a bad quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, but not an earth beater at all either. You tie up $40-some-odd million, and then you turn around and draft a quarterback with your first pick. I'm befuddled. That means confused. I'm befuddled, man. I don't understand. What the hell are the Falcons doing, right? So you're going to tie up anywhere. What's the first round? Anywhere from 12 to 15 million. Used to be more than that, right? So let's just estimate and say you tied up about $55 to $65 million a year in one position. And I kept seeing posts about, what do you guys think about this duo at quarterback? A duo means you can play the same time. At quarterback, there is no duo. You only can play one at a time. So that's not a duo, right? So that means your bench quarterback is going to be making about 13, 14, 15, 16 million dollars. I don't know what the hell the Falcons are doing. Just me, right? Don't know what they're doing, bro. Gary Bama for life. What's up with you, bro? Jay Williamson, roll tide, man. Yeah, the Bills was tripping too. They traded back. You just lost Stephon Diggs. I know Coach Jay. I can't wait to hear Coach Jay's segment. I can't, no matter where I be today, I'm going to listen to Coach Jay because I know he is about to flip his wig, right? Coach Jay is about to flip his wig, bro. Trust me. I don't know what the hell they're doing, man. Their draft first round grade was a C. Nobody understands what they're doing. Penix suffered season-ending injuries in each of his 4 years at Indiana, right? But he's a strong arm quarterback, probably the strongest arm in the draft. Extremely accurate. Kirk Cousins is coming off a gruesome injury, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the Falcons, if you wanted Penix like that, you could have traded back and got him. You could have got Dallas Turner at 8, gave up something, and got Penix later on in the first round. To pass on Dallas Turner when you need pass rush help was asinine to me. Their fans were tweeting about it. They were going into a straight meltdown, guys. A straight meltdown. So I don't understand what the hell they're doing, right? I'm not a Falcons fan. Shout out to my homeboy Bear. He is a Falcons fan. Round the Table Sports. He's a Falcons fan. I would be even more befuddled if I was a Falcons fan. So I'm gonna tell you who did kill it though. The Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions. You got Brian Branch, who was borderline an all-pro player, right? Who had an outstanding rookie season, right? You got J-Mo, who's just now coming into his own, who's about to be the focal point with Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you got Jahmyr Gibbs, who had an outstanding year. All the Bama boys snapped, right? You add Terrion Arnold to that. The Detroit Lions. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. And I'm not saying that just because he comes from Bama. When you look at what the Detroit Lions are building, these guys, that coach, when he first got hired, Dan Campbell, everybody thought he was crazy because his first introductory interview, he was talking about biting kneecaps and biting feet off or whatever the hell he said like that. We're gonna bite some kneecaps and bite. Everybody was like, what the hell is he talking about? Man, listen, that just goes to show you never judge a book by its cover, because that guy has done an awesome job. They've got better every season. They're relentless on defense. They're scoring points on offense. The Detroit Lions are relevant, right? The Detroit Lions are relevant. And to add Terrion Arnold to that, shout out to them, man. Shout out to the Ghosts, TA. I tweeted Kool-Aid and I told him, I said, young brother, don't hang your head, man. God don't make no mistakes, right? Derrick Henry was upset when he went second round. Eddie Jackson was upset when he went third round, right? Look how their careers have went so far. The good Lord don't make no mistakes, man, right? You just take this as a small chip. You go in, you work hard. Don't worry about the necklaces and the cars and the flash. You get on the field and you ball out of control, right? And then everything will fall into place. Be patient, because this day 2 draft, I can assure you Kool-Aid won't be on the board. He'll probably be gone the first 5 picks of the second round. He'll be gone. That's a whole fact. He'll be gone, right? But the NFL is a weird league, man. The NBA is more of a flash league. You can kind of dress how you want. You can wear the Louis. You can have, the NFL seem to frown on that. If you too much flash, too much, they sort of, So if I'm Kool-Aid, don't worry about it, brother. The good Lord don't make no mistakes, right? It wasn't meant for you to be in one of them teams, right? You'll land right where you need to be. Stay prayed up. You know what I'm saying? Resort to your roots. You know what you come from. Work hard. Don't stray from that, right? And everything gonna be fine. Kool-Aid is a dog. He's a hell of a player, and he built by Bama. So I support him to the end, and he gonna land just where the good Lord wants him to be, and everything gonna work itself out. Everything gonna work itself out. That's a whole fact. Exactly. Ronnie Jones. I mean, it's unfortunate that that's how it is, because in 2024, these kids are different. They like fashion. Even though I will say, I seen some fashion last night. I won't call no names. That was utterly ridiculous. I seen dudes in shoes and suits that you'd have to give me a check to wear. I will say you probably have to give me a check to wear it. It was pretty damn bad, to be honest. Right? Christian from New Jersey, Byron Thompson. Man, listen, Brian, you'd have to give me a check to wear some of that stuff I seen some of them kids had on. Like, what in the, bro, you know what I'm saying? What you got on, cuz? So, but it is what it is, guys. That's the thing nowadays. These kids, the fashion, the trendy fashions, the out of the way, out of the box fashions, that's their thing. Shout out to them. I'm no hater, man. I'm no hater. I just couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay, man. Kool-Aid's gonna be just fine, guys. That young kid's gonna be just fine. Maybe this will give him a little motivation to even work even harder. If people doubt you, you've been trained by Bama. You know what to do. You know what to do. Shout out to the Arizona Cardinals. I think they had a very, very, very good draft. I give them an A. The Arizona Cardinals got Marvin Harrison Jr., who I do not believe is the best receiver in this draft. I do think Malik Neighbors is better than him. I'm not saying that just because it's an SEC thing. I've always said Malik Neighbors, to me, is the most dynamic receiver in the country. His separation is unbearable, is impeccable. His release is impeccable. He's tough. This kid can take handoffs from the backfield. He can play the X. He can play any of the receiver positions, right? He can play the Z. So to get Marvin Harrison Jr., though, is a plus for those guys. It gives Kyler Murray some weapons, a weapon. Then they double back and picked up Darius Robinson, who was a dominant defensive tackle from Missouri, right? This kid is very, very, very aggressive. Gave Ohio State all the fits in the world. So yeah, I give the Cardinals an A, man. Those they did some good things. If you have to have a first round pick or two That's how you want to come out. You get the second best, to some the first best wide receiver in the draft, and you get one of the most disruptive defensive tackles on the inside in the draft. He's not an edge rusher, but he is very disruptive on the inside, right? So I'm extremely happy with the Cardinals draft. Shout out to them. Is it me, guys, or did the Chicago Bears staff look like they didn't know what the hell they were doing? They didn't know if they wanted to take Caleb or not take Caleb, but I will give them some credit. Caleb, say what you want about him. I'm not high on Caleb Williams. I'm just not. Of course he's a talent. We all know that. But I just don't know how high I am on that kid, right? But I am high on Rome Odunze, the wide receiver from Washington, who was a dog. I don't think he's Malik Neighbor versatility. I don't think his versatility is like Malik's, but I do think Rome Odunze is awesome. To get him and Caleb Williams in the same draft, you got to give those guys an A or a B. Yeah, he's a dog, Trapanier. Trapanier said he's a dog. That's a whole fact, man. Marquita says, I'm not either, Coach Sean. I don't vibe with Caleb's attitude. Yeah, he is like that, man, who try to, and I understand it. He goes against the grain. He wants to be that kid to not do it the way it's supposed to be done. I want to show difference. I would love to tell Caleb in a quiet room by myself, brother, the only reason everybody is high on you should give Patrick Mahomes half of your check. You should go call Patrick Mahomes and tell him, Pat, I owe you this, because your play makes everybody think that you're going to be Patrick Mahomes. The rolling out, the off-platform throws, the arm angles, everybody keep putting you to Patrick Mahomes. So Patrick's game is why you are drafted the way you are, right? Openly crying after losses, having your teammates pick you up off the ground and paint your fingernails. If you're going to hate on Kool-Aid for jury, then you should hate on him for painting his fingernails. Not that I have nothing against painting fingernails, but okay. We'll leave that right there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Baltimore Ravens. I would have loved to see Kool-Aid go here, right? I honestly thought that's where he was gonna go. JB said it on Twitter. JB called it. JB was like, man, I would love to see, shout out to JB. I would love to see the Baltimore Ravens take Kool-Aid right here. But they didn't. They took Nate Wiggins. And Nate Wiggins runs a 4.2, guys. He's small and he's frail and he's not very he's aggressive, but he's not a big hitter, right? But the kid does run a 4.2. The kid runs a 4.2. He played man coverage at Clemson. He can play. Is he better than Kool-Aid? I don't think so. Kool-Aid can play off coverage. I don't think Nate Wiggins is very good playing off coverage. I think the 4.2 is what everybody is mesmerized by, right? That speed is what everybody's mesmerized by. I can't wait to hear Coach Jay's angle on what the hell the Buffalo Bills were doing, trading out of the first round. I don't understand that at all. I guess they figure they could have easily got Xavier Worthy, right? But they traded back and let the Chiefs pick him up. So I have no clue about that. Shout out to Kevlar, Wailed Warrior, Reclaim Your Brain. Kevlar, roll tide to you, my friend. It's good to see you. The whole staff, the entire staff, we appreciate you. $50 super chat from Kevlar. Thank you, Kevlar. We appreciate you, man. Roll tide to you and your family. And you are much, much appreciated, man. That's from me and the entire staff. Appreciate that. Right, Megan? Right? Oh, we got the man himself. Kyle.
What's up?
Weird Life Henderson.
Man, what's up? What's up, Undefeated? I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for supporting Coach Sean this morning right here on Bama Football on YouTube. It's last night, the NFL draft, man. I tweeted this, and I know you were talking about it, and I caught so this morning, first of all, I got the workout in, right? It was amazing. 3.5 miles, but we ran to Northport from downtown Tuscaloosa, and then there was like a workout facility. Anybody been to like Muscle Beach like out in LA, right? In Venice, and that they have like a setup like that out in Northport now. So it was cool. Like got up on the rings, and basically you put your legs on the back, and then you have like parallel like rings, right? Mm-hmm. And I was able to get some push-ups in off those. So it was pretty impressive. We did like sit-ups and stuff like that, and then we ran back. So 3.5 miles, feeling good, and I appreciate you guys. I've actually been going to the stretch zone here in Tuscaloosa. It's expensive for sure. I don't know if I'll do it again, but I needed to work on my flexibility, right? Besides rubbing on my back with, the Rogue Shop stuff, I just felt that I needed more flexibility in my life. So that's something I've been working on. I tweeted this last night about the NFL draft, and I want to get your take on this. I'm going to be here for like 30 minutes, Coach.
No problem.
Let me get this going real quick. So I want to cut this out. All right, Coach Sean, I wanted to ask you about this. I tweeted this out about Coach Saban yesterday. It was really amazing to see. One second. I need to make sure the audio is correct. All right, here we go. All right, Coach, I wanted to ask you this about Coach Saban. I tweeted this out yesterday. He was poised. He was polished. He was articulate. Mm-hmm. I mean, my goodness, what a showcase to have Coach Saban on the biggest stage in the NFL. Like, no more eyeballs are going to be, within the NFL within the next couple months. But to have him on the forefront, it was amazing to see Coach Saban just flourish. I mean, he was meant to do that. He was meant to coach football. Some people have it. Coach Saban has it. What did you think about his overall delivery yesterday on the NFL draft?
I mean, I think Coach Saban did an absolute awesome job. He was charismatic when he had to be. Mm-hmm. He was serious when he had to be. And most importantly, that I appreciate, people like me, he knows his football. Yes. He broke down speed to power. He broke down each player and the pluses and the minuses that they brought to the stage. The guys are regular. Guys are regular. He's normal in front of the camera. And I think I read a quote where he said, what did he say, man? It was something like, you can't please everybody or make everybody happy. No, if you want to make everybody happy, don't be a leader. Go sell ice cream. Mm-hmm. So Coach Saban was a normal. He's a natural. I think people gravitate to him. I think people forgot that he used to be the Bama coach and gave him a chance, and he absolutely knocked it out the park. That's a whole fact.
Absolutely. And you look at the coach that is exiting Alabama's program, sending 3 in the first round with J.C. Latham, Dallas Turner, who, by the way, was an absolute steal by the Minnesota Vikings. My goodness. And then you have a division rival of the Vikings, the Detroit Lions, going after Terran Arnold. And, those are 2 late round picks that I think are going to absolutely flourish. I mean, Dallas Turner coming in at 17 absolutely shocked me. But Coach Saban even said last night on the NFL draft, the game has changed to an offensive-minded game. You look at all the quarterbacks that went off the board. I was surprised, undefeated. Let me know. Were you guys surprised to see Bo Nix go off the board that early? I felt that some of the quarterbacks, even J.J. McCarthy, look, the great job that he did, I thought you could have got some of those guys in the later rounds or in like years past. Those guys would have been third-round picks, in my opinion. But now you need quarterbacks. You need wide receivers. I thought, Kansas City landing, Xavier Worthy was big. The 49ers pickups, I was guess, excited about that a little bit. But I think Coach Saban, one thing that he said within his delivery, think about this, and I was thinking about this on my way to my workout. He's known these players since they were 9th grade. 8th grade. He's had an opportunity to visit with their parents. What better person to talk about the players who played against them, right? Who coached them. It was amazing to see. Like, for example, he gave it to Amarius Mims, right? He really did. He checked him up and down, said what he needed to be said. Saban didn't hold back. And the great thing about it was I was wondering how he was going to kind of foster his emotions when guys from Alabama got picked. And he did what any coach would do. He was happy about those guys, elated about what they've done because he's seen them work for day one. Your thoughts on let's just start with J.C. Latham going to Tennessee. Tennessee going to absolutely tighten up. I really like J.C. Latham's game because I felt that he played too heavy last year, but I saw him in the pro day, looked fantastic. So your thoughts on J.C. Latham going to Tennessee?
My thoughts on J.C. going to Tennessee is I didn't like him going to Tennessee, and it's only because, not for the draft status, I just don't like the Titans. I don't like the offense they run. Yeah. Maybe with a new coach, though, and I'm basing my hypothesis on Vrabel. Vrabel was a defensive guy. I don't really like how they did Derrick Henry. They gave Tannehill that huge contract, and then they didn't want to pay Derrick. I don't like that. But as far as his draft status going to the Titans, I think you're starting to see what the Titans want to do for the future.
Yeah.
They got a new quarterback in Will Levis.
Yeah.
They got a new coach, an offensive guy. Now they bring in J.C. Latham to play left or right tackle, right? What do you do when you have a young quarterback? You protect him, right? So I'm ecstatic for him as far as the pick is concerned. And I think J.C. would do J.C. Latham things. Shout out to Jay Townsend, man. OG Jay Townsend gifted 5 more Bama football on YouTube with Kyle Henderson memberships, trying to keep everybody green. Shout out to the OG himself. Thank you, Jay. We appreciate you.
Yeah, and if you rewind to a couple picks before that, and of course we appreciate you, Jay Townsend, coming in with the undefeated gear. The Atlanta Falcons GM and the owner were going at it. I mean, because you have, Atlanta has just paid for a quarterback. What was it? $180 million. And what are they?
4 years.
What are they going to pay Michael? Penix? Like, how much are they going to pay him? Right. Yep. I think they are going to be kicking themselves. I think that the teams that passed on Dallas Turner are going to be kicking themselves. I think J.C. Latham will be very productive, and I think that he's going to have a really great career with the Titans. But I think one player that could be potentially a game changer from day one is Dallas Turner. His combine performance speaks for itself. His on-the-play performance speaks for itself. I was really, really surprised that he fell to 17. I think the Minnesota Vikings really got a steal in him. And then with Terran Arnold, you look to the Lions. The last couple of drafts, they've went with guys from Alabama, right? Yep. Help me out on this, Undefeated. You had Jahmyr Gibbs, you have Brian Branch, you have now Terrion, and who am I missing? James Williams. Yeah, so the Detroit, Alabama Crimson Tide. And we saw that a couple years ago with like the Washington Commanders, but before they were Commanders, the Redskins. It was kind of like Washington Roll Tide. So I really like the pickups there. So, in guys who will be picked up in Alabama, it's not done yet. You're going to have more guys go off the board in rounds 2 and 3 from Alabama. But think about this. The selling point for Alabama has always been not only can Coach Saban get you to the College Football National Championship or the playoffs, but can also get you into the NFL. And that's kind of one of the allures of coming to Alabama. Now, you have a very young coach, and Coach Kalen DeBoer sent 3 guys the first round last night.
That's right? A fact.
And you think about from the quarterback position, you look at the development of Michael Penix, you look at Romaduze, right? The third player that they sent in the draft, that speaks volumes. And I think that fits on brand with what Alabama continues to do, is to develop players. So I think that's an added selling point. Saban ends, I think, with 47 first-round draft picks, right? And then you have Coach Kalen DeBoer, who just added 3 more. So that's on brand where Alabama football is. Talk about that in terms of Coach Kalen DeBoer continuing to showcase that he can develop players to get them to the NFL as well.
To all who think Coach DeBoer was just a product of the Pac-12 and he can't recruit or he can't develop guys. Yeah. I want you to know he had 3 first-round picks in this draft, the same as Alabama, right? He had a quarterback, he had a receiver, and he had an offensive lineman, right? So when you look at that and you look at the guys that came to Washington and the development process, a lot of these guys he dealt with weren't, and I'm not dissing them, I'm not saying nothing bad about those guys, but a lot of those kids were not as highly recruited as some of the kids who came to Bama. So you put this guy into a Bama system, into the resources of a place like University of Alabama. Have no fear. Have no fear, guys. It's going to pick right back up where it left off.
Yeah, and I think when you look to kind of the transfer portal and the players that have stayed at Alabama, I think they have quickly understood that, look, this isn't going to change much in terms of the development process. And I know it's early, and I know they haven't played a game, and things can change or whatever, but I think the message has been established early on. What you lose, Brockemeyer, and, I think there was a couple other, lesser known people to hit the portal from Alabama, but overwhelmingly, there hasn't been a lot of movement. And I think it's just because these guys have completely bought in. So to see Coach Kalen DeBoer, and it was kind of low key, right? It was kind of more about Saban and sending his players off. But I mean, 3 players in the first round from Washington, really impressive. And I think that's going to continue with next year as you look to the guys that are on the board for Alabama going into this 2024 season. So, I like the NFL draft. I'm excited to see which players go off today. What else are we watching for? Who else do you think goes in? I know Kool-Aid, he had a draft party and he'll get picked up in the second round, I'm assuming. You have Burton, you have Justin Eboigbe, probably Jace in the way later rounds, Will Reichert as well. So there's still a lot of draft eligible players from Alabama that you're going to see go on the board for the next couple of days. I noticed this, Coach, you were talking about kind of some of the drip from the players. I personally didn't like Caleb Williams' attire. That just wasn't me. You know who I thought looked really good, if you caught like the pre-NFL draft, was Cam Newton. Cam Newton looked crisp. It was kind of like modern with classic, and then he had the hat on top, but I really wasn't feeling, Broswell. Thank you, Caleb King. I appreciate you. But I didn't like Caleb Williams' gear. I did like Terran Arnold's.
I like Terran.
I didn't like Dallas Turner.
I didn't want to say it. But the green suit with the Chuck Taylors.
I wasn't. But
I wasn't feeling that.
Terran looked fresh though, and I love. Let's spend a minute on Terran.
Yeah,
that smile, that allure, that personality. Like the Detroit Lions tweeted out this picture, and they're like, "We feel the same." Like that guy. Can you imagine? This is how. So when you want something really bad, if you've ever read The Alchemist, the world will help you achieve it. Okay, right? Book by Paulo Coelho. And I think like Terran Arnold is living that life. And to be able to be picked, not only in the first round of the NFL draft, but by the Detroit Lions in the home city of Detroit, like this guy is like living it, right, Coach?
Yeah, and that's true. And I get it. I know Dallas Turner. And I know these were Rick's, I know, but they always had the Chuck Taylor feel to me. Right, I know all about them, but I just saying I call them. They to me they just have the Chuck Taylor feel. Right, I think even Christian Dior shoes I think are the ugliest shoes on the planet. Cost you $1,000 for a pair of kicks. But here's the thing: all that's what you said is 100% correct, man. But I do think sometimes, guys, we overdo it with the drip, like. I liked Kool-Aid's outfit. When Kool-Aid pulled up, I loved the outfit he had on. He was fresh, man. Had the bag to go with it, the car. Man, he was fresh, right? But I'm an old school dude, man, right? I don't know, Kyle. It seems like with the drip, if you don't get picked where you want to get picked, it takes something away from being clean. I'd rather be at home with a t-shirt on, but go where I think I'm gonna get picked, right? Because at the end of the day, that's all they're gonna remember. That's all they're gonna remember. You can right now, last year's drip. Can you tell me what anybody had on right now?
No, the only person that I remember is actually Coach Saban from last year, because he had the pink blazer on. That was the only thing that I remember, right? Coach, what are you drinking over here? Is that some ocean spray?
Oh yeah. Wow. I'm on the cranberry.
Oh, you're on the cranberry. Oh, I like that, man.
That says 0 sugar.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, good for you, man.
Wonderful.
I like that, man. That's the only one that I remember for last year. But anyways, I thought Coach Saban just did a really great job.
Let me ask you something, Kyle. I want to know how you feel about this. The Falcons, like we talked about it, but I want to get your feelings on it. The Falcons going to pay Kirk Cousins probably about $44-45 million a year. Right? A well over 30 quarterback who's coming off a bad injury.
Yep.
Now they use their first pick. They need pass rush help. They need cornerback help. They need D-line help. They need offensive line help. Now they use their first round pick on another quarterback who they're going to have to pay $15-20 million to. What's your real feelings on that pick?
I mean, it was ridiculous. I think that if they had any sense to look at the quarterbacks that were in this year's draft, I mean, we were probably surprised that there were so many quarterbacks taken in the first round, but I mean, those guys study. That's like what they do. So probably even before they took Kirk Cousins, they knew going in before that they were going to have to take a quarterback. So it's amazing to me to see them sign Kirk Cousins, because you're right. Like, what are they going to pay both of those players? And if they are hurting on the defensive side of the ball, they certainly missed out on Dallas Turner, right? If they're hurting on the offensive line, they missed out on J.C. Latham. I thought it was, Falcons fans, I think, were really upset. Not because you're getting Michael Penix Jr., Jr., right? Because he can thread the ball, right? Despite some of the injuries that I didn't even know about. It was interesting, kind of like when Kuiper breaks down the players, he kind of lists like all their injuries that they've ever had, right? Like ingrown toenail and this and that and broken index finger. And you're like, my goodness, geez, how's this guy still walking? Besides, these are different players, right? They have different levels of, of healthcare that they're young guys. So I'm not mad about the pick. I think that Michael Penix Jr. is a really great quarterback. And I think, I have no idea what's going to happen. Think about what's on Michael Penix's mind, too. He's probably going in there like, I'm going to compete for the job. And what's Kirk Cousins thinking? He's like,
what's Kirk Cousins thinking? Right. What's Kirk thinking?
I got paid because how much is that of that contract is guaranteed? Like, is it 100 million?
It's 100 of 180 million is guaranteed. 100 million is guaranteed.
Saying. He don't care. He's like, I'll set the pine for 100 million. Man, so, bro. I don't know. So that's a lack of leadership. But like I was saying earlier, I mean, Dallas Turner is going to make you pay, and the NFL. It's always evolving. It's what do they call it? A copycat type system. So offense is always going to be in play, but the defense players, even still on the board, I think there's a lot that you can kind of go through, but really surprised to see Dallas Turner. That was kind of like the shocker to see him. And look, I get it. He's still in the first round, but to see him go all the way to 17, I think that was a really big steal for the Vikings.
Let me ask you this, Kyle. What do you think? We know Dallas Turner is probably the biggest steal in the draft. What do you feel is the biggest stretch? Who really reached to pick someone too early, you think?
I think probably the Broncos going with Bo Nix, to be honest. I was surprised to see that. I think that Bo Nix, it's amazing to see. I mean, what was he in college for, like 6 years, 5 years? So he does have a lot of experience for sure, but I was absolutely shocked that they took him. I think if the Denver really wanted a quarterback, they could have got a quarterback. They probably could have got Bo Nix in the 3rd or 4th round, right? I honestly, I think, I don't know. I mean, so I was really surprised to see that. I think even J.J. McCarthy, too. I think that was an early pick as well. I think that was kind of a stretch. Maybe the guy, I can't. There were some other picks that I certainly do agree with. Like, I know people kind of going back and forth about Drake May. I like Drake May as a quarterback. Remember, he was committed to Alabama. I don't know if he was, the 3rd, best pick, overall, but I don't know. I just thought that in terms of like a stretch, Bo Nix was the one that I was like, what? Bo Nix? Are you serious? Like, I think he'll be a quality, reserve or backup or whatever, but I don't think he's like a day one starter.
Yeah, all facts. I was shocked to see Sean Payton reach and grab Bo so early. But that just goes to show you, once 2 or 3 quarterbacks come off the board back to back, everybody else start panicking. We better go get our guy. We better go get our guy. My stretch was probably Amarius Mims. Now, Amarius Mims is 6'8", 355. I mean, the guy has got he's a people mover. Yeah. But his pass pro was not very good. I think he's only had a few starts. He kept getting hurt, had an ankle injury, a hamstring injury, just all these different things. And to take him that high, I think you could have got him a little later. I really do. So the stretch for the Bengals and to go get him like that, that was a real stretch for me. I think Coach Saban hit the nail right on the head with him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm curious to see what happens, in days 2 and day 3. I think, just like Caleb pointed out, Chris Brazil is still on the board, and I think he's going to be a really good addition to any locker room. And I think with his overall athleticism, and I think he'll add a lot. Kool-Aid, I can't wait to see where Kool-Aid is drafted. Same thing with, I guess, Will Reichard and Justin Mbogbe and Jace. So I appreciate you letting me hop on for this back end segment on Friday, Coach. I have Ty coming in at 9:30. He'll be rapping with you, and then you guys just close it out. But I appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful Saturday. We'll be back as news happens, and we'll keep you posted right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Please support Coach Sean like you guys would support me. Coach Sean, do your thing, man, and I appreciate you.
Roll Tide, Cal. I appreciate you as well, my broski. So yeah, guys, it's shout out to Ebony. What's up, Ebony? How you doing, man? I've been in Chicago. Ebony, I had to go to Chicago for a couple of days, take care of some business for sure. So yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. This draft is it's really crazy to me at times. It's A lot of things I don't understand. As much football as I've been around in my life, it's a lot of things with the draft I do not understand. To have infighting inside the Falcons war room, that's what we call the rooms, and to pick another quarterback. It's a good pick. I mean, Penix is a good player. I don't hate him to pick at all. The pick is good itself when you pick Michael Penix and you don't have a quarterback outside of Kirk Cousins. I get it. But where you picked him at is more my beef, right? That means you're going to tie up about $60 million to one position. And when you suck like the Falcons do, you just really can't afford that, right? You have holes everywhere, man. So to tie that much money up into one position, a position that only one person can play at a time, is that's tough. That's tough, man. Just being honest. Shout out to Adam Lamparillo. Adam, you already know, brother. Facts. Yeah, Ebony said, I wasn't going to say it, but it's true. Ebony says Penix and Nix are old as yeah, I think both of those guys are easily 23, 24. You know, Stetson Benish, 24 going on 25, maybe. You know, you can Google it. They're definitely not 22. That's a fact. It seems to me Bo was at Auburn, 2-3 years, you know? I mean, the guy played with Jarrett Stidham, and Jarrett Stidham been in the league for like 4 years, man. And so to see this guy still playing college football, you know, but shout out to him though, man. He did his thing. He played well, and you got to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to the Indianapolis coach as well, to pick up that defensive end, Latu, from UCLA. I mean, that kid's an edge rusher for real. I don't think he's better than Dallas. I think he's just a pass rusher. I don't think he's a factor against the run at all. So to have him going to the Colts where he went, okay. You know, I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to ruin people's parade. Shout out to Jacksonville Jaguars for getting Brian Thomas. I like Brian Thomas, man, from LSU. He was big. That kid almost went to Alabama. Kid that can stretch the field with his size. Kid definitely go up and get the ball. Very aggressive. The Jacksonville Jaguars. And you hear this now. You hear it from Coach Sean right now. Trevor Lawrence has had some injury issues over the last 2 years, right? Mac Jones had a Pro Bowl season his rookie year. Came out. He had a defensive coordinator named Matt Patricia as his offensive coordinator. He didn't play well. They didn't support him with any weapons in New England. He didn't play well, right? Let Trevor Lawrence keep getting hurt. Matt is from Jacksonville. He's going to go into that thing with a huge chip on his shoulder. He got some weapons with Brian Thomas, Zay Jones, you know what I mean? So don't be too shocked if Trevor Lawrence get hurt and Mac Jones play well, right? Don't be shocked about that. Mac has got to choose. Mac is a competitor, man. This is a kid that sat behind Jalen, sat behind Tua. You know, he understands competition. He'll be the first to tell you he didn't play well at times in New England, but I'll be the first to tell you they didn't put him in any good situations there. Talent was at an all-time low for that franchise. And I do believe if Trevor Lawrence go into the season and get hurt or don't play well, you will see Mac Jones play. That I can promise you. I want to say this, and this is to my brother Coach Jay, who I love. But I will say to me, and this is just Coach Sean's opinion, I think his team made a grave mistake by letting the Chiefs get that pick, or whoever the hell it was. I just know by trading out of the first round, you allowed the Chiefs to get Tyreek Hill number 2, as far as the deep ball is concerned. You let a 4-2 guy go to the Chiefs of all teams, right? I don't know what the hell Buffalo's thinking, right? And this is just my humble opinion. Shout out to the man himself, Ty Hayes. What's up with you, brother?
Coach, it's been a tough evening.
Oh, man.
I had to sit there and watch my Vikings
Oh yeah.
trade up for J.J. McCarthy.
Yep.
You know how sick I was? Now,
can
they
imagine.
redeemed themselves with Dallas Turner, right?
Yes.
They redeemed themselves there. Great pick. We needed the edge. But, Coach, this is my question to you. They gave up so much draft capital to do this. Why not get Dallas Turner with your original pick and then use some draft capital in terms of third and fourth rounders next year to go get Spencer Rattler in the second round, who personally I think has a higher upside than J.J. McCarthy.
That's a fact.
And now we have no picks next year. I mean,
I understand. Ty, I understand. I have so many friends who went to college with me who are Georgia fans, right? And they are just like you, Ty. They still talking about it. Half of them hadn't even went to sleep but a couple hours. I had so many texts. They were going off, bro. They were going off. But that makes perfect sense what you just said. But it's what it is, Ty. This is a sign of what I just told Kyle. Once quarterbacks are picked early and random like that, it boosts every other quarterback up. Bo Nix was at home when he saw all those quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3. Bo was at home smiling like this because he knew I'm going to be picked early. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense, but you almost have no choice if you're a GM. If that's your guy, you almost have to just go get him. Now, it may not make sense in the long run, right? It may not make sense, and it may not be a good pick at all. Go ask the Jets with Zach Wilson, right? But it kind of sucks, though. I will agree.
you just got rid of Kirk Cousins, and then you draft Kirk Cousins light.
Yeah, facts.
Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, and WT says Vikings could have traded up for Penix, not JJ. I have a theory that Atlanta is who I need to blame for all of this happening.
That's a whole fact. It's
Atlanta's fault.
Atlanta set the trend for this, man, Ty. I want to get your feelings on this, though, Ty. I'm anxious. I heard the undefeated, all the undefeated, Marquita, everybody was chiming in on this. The NFL gave, well, I'm not going to say the NFL, the Falcons gave Kirk Cousins, a quarterback who's well over 30, who's in his 30s. I don't know if he's well over 30, but he's in his 30s, I think. I think he came in with RG3 in the same season at Washington, if I remember. So he got to be in his 30s, I believe, right? You gave this guy 4 years, $180 million, with 100 of that 180 guaranteed. That's about what, 40-something million?
Isn't he coming off of an Achilles tear as well?
That's the whole fact, and I had that. That's what ended my career, Achilles, right? Now, you take that, what you paid Kirk, fine. I get it. If he comes back healthy, Kirk will be solid, right? You take your first pick. You need pass rusher help. You need DB help. You need running back. You need wide receiver help. You need help. You take that first pick and you spend it on Michael Penix that early, right? And you're going to pay him 15 to 20 million, I guess, first round. What's your thoughts on that? Yeah, it'll probably be more than that. But what's your thoughts on that, Kyle?
So here's the thing. These first round, especially the first 15 picks, the way they have been structuring these contracts, like, these guys are getting the money guaranteed now. It's not like the old days where it's like, oh, it's insane. No, that's gone are the days of that. Which, listen, Coach, I am an advocate for guaranteed contracts, right? Because football is a violent game. Anything can happen. Get your money. Not mad at that in the slightest. But it's just like, this is what I keep telling everybody when I'm like, hey, and I know some people like raise their eyebrows. For weeks before this draft, you can ask the undefeated coach. I've been sitting in here saying a lot of these scouts, their job is to devalue players because they have to work within a cap. So it's just like, I can't tell you why Kool-Aid dropped, right? That doesn't make much sense to me. But you remember the Laramie Tunsil situation? That video had been out for a year and a half, and it just so happens to find its way out that day. And how many times have we seen A.D. Mitchell, someone who I think is a first-round talent, and all of a sudden this week you have scouts saying, oh, he's a cancer. You talk to his teammates, and they say quite the opposite. It's a devaluation game, which is why I was so shocked whenever Atlanta did what they did, because I'm like, oh my God, you're not even playing the game the way it's supposed to be played.
At all.
And I love Penix. I thought Penix would fall to my Vikings, and then we ride off into the sunset. When I say Atlanta had the worst pick of the night, it has nothing to do with Penix. Right. I think he's going to be great. It has everything to do with structuring your team need, and being able to advance. Coach, this is something, and I can relate it back to recruiting. It's something I talk about in relation to Texas and Oklahoma all the time. Whenever you look at the way that the former coaching staff, Herman, and them used to recruit at Texas, or Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma, it was like going to McDonald's and getting a Big Mac meal. Is that a meal? Yeah, 100% it's a meal. But is that a principled meal that's conducive to health, wealth, and success? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's all flash. It's all empty calories. Now you look at something Alabama has been doing for years. You look at the meal you're getting served in Alabama recruiting. You got your veggies. You got your grains. You got your protein. You have got the fresh food necessary to sustain a healthy lifestyle. And that's something that I think that Texas and OU have done a great job doing under their new coaching staffs. Atlanta, I think now it's just like, okay, I love Penix. You didn't need Penix there. You need other things. This is empty calories. And I hate saying that about Michael Penix, because anybody on this channel will know I have been screaming about Michael Penix for 2 years, saying he is maybe the best quarterback in the nation. I love his game, but it's about drafting to need.
I'll tell you this, Ty. I'm proud of my Steelers for getting the offensive lineman. I don't usually like taking guards that high in the first round, but we needed that guy, and that guy's good, man. That guy from Washington. I'm going to tell you another lineman who I'm extremely high on. One of the best tackles I've seen to come out of college as far as footwork. Kid's an athlete, can dunk, play tight end in high school. Kid Joe Alt from Notre Dame that the Chargers picked up. That kid is 6'8", man. Great feet, great hands. Jim Harbaugh knows what he's doing, man. He's building from inside out. He has a quarterback. I kept seeing people talking about the Chargers going to pick JJ. Why? They got Justin Herbert. Why would they make the same mistake that the Falcons made? Right? Jim Harbaugh is not going to tie that much money up into that position. Are you good? You good, brother? Go ahead.
I had a lag on my end, and I apologize. That's completely my fault. There was some pre-draft talk that maybe Herbert could be shipped to Minnesota.
Really?
And I was like, even then, I was like, okay. My thing is, coach, is like, we've done this. We've had the game manager, and like, you have to be exceptional everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? To just like win with the game manager. And if that's the case, fine. Like, I don't mind having a game manager at quarterback. But then why are we giving up so much draft capital to trade up to get a game manager? And now we've handcuffed ourselves in terms of what we're able to do in this draft to supplement pieces around him. I text Jance last night for about 45 minutes. And I was sending that. Have you ever seen Team America, Coach, the GIF where it's like the guy just puking everywhere?
Yeah.
I said, live look at me right now. And I was just like, if anybody was wondering what I was tweeting about with the Michael Scott, God, please no, that's what it was. That's what it was about, was the pick. Because I'm not saying that I don't think JJ McCarthy's not a solid quarterback. But trading up to get him, what all they gave away, I just don't get it. And I pray, Coach, I would be very happy to be wrong. It would make me so happy in 3 years from now to come on here and be like, I was so wrong. What an idiot I was. That would make me happy. But I'm not happy right now. I am happy with Dallas, though. Dallas Turner, that was a great pick because but I just don't understand why they did what they did, Coach. You keep all the production by taking Dallas with your original first pick and then taking Spencer Rattler in the second round. Like, I don't know.
I do believe you could have still gotten Dallas and a great quarterback in the second round. I do. I'm not down on JJ McCarthy, but even when we played him, I mean, he was serviceable, right? But Alabama played him pretty straight up, and man, we weren't worried about him beating us with his arm. He made some great plays based off his legs and how they run their offense. He didn't just drop back and dissect us or anything like that. He's no Jaden Daniels. I can give him that. I don't even think he's better than Drake May as far as throwing the football. Now he's a great quarterback. I'm gonna take nothing from him, but I don't know if he's a world beater enough to put the Vikings over the top. I just don't know. I'm just very, very, very befuddled about all of these picks so far and how this thing. But it's like you said, I think the Dallas Turner pick is what set the wheels in motion for some of this buffoonery. I really, really do. Adam Lamparillo says Drake May reminds me of Daniel Jones. It's gonna be interesting, man, because I'm gonna tell you something, guys. And Ty, you know this. With all these quarterbacks being drafted in the first round, in the future, it's going to be a lot of GMs to go on and do great things, or it's going to be a lot of GMs to get fired, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So to take this many QBs in those amount of picks, none of us has ever seen that. So, the future will tell the story, Ty.
Well, I'm interested in this right here. I'm about to look it up because didn't McCarthy just let me look. Let's go to his 2023 season game look. And let's check this out. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He had 7 games, Coach, where he didn't throw for 200 yards.
Facts. Exactly. Now, was that by scheme? Yeah, that's my point. This guy's not going I don't ever remember us being threatened by his arm when we played Michigan, right? We played man, the running back and the offensive line is what destroyed us. I don't ever remember JJ McCarthy just dropping back, picking us apart like that. Like he hit a bunch of mesh routes, a bunch of underneath stuff on us, and that kid went in top 15, top 16, top 17, whatever it is. Wow, yeah. This whole draft has been, but see, you got a lot of young. I noticed when I looked in these war rooms, Ty, I seen a lot of young people in there. It's not like it was back in the day when you got a bunch of seasoned veterans. I seen a lot of young people in the Chicago Bears war room. Hell, I don't think I seen anybody in there over 40. I was like, man, what is this? What is this? Their kids or something? That was their exec. That was their execs, their administrators. So I don't know, man. I don't know, to pick Dallas that late, to pick JJ that high, to not pick Kool-Aid at all.
That was
right?
wild. Kool-Aid, Coach, I have not seen a cornerback get punished for not being tested. I thought that was the ultimate compliment as a cornerback. I thought if they refused to look your way, that was the ultimate compliment. Apparently not.
Yep.
Apparently I'm wrong, which, listen, you learn something new every day. I want to hit this comment from Sean. Adam has a great comment in there saying JJ played smart against us, but he was not a serious threat. We lost at the line of scrimmage. Listen,
Facts.
JJ is a solid quarterback. My contention is not that. My contention is how much draft capital you gave up to trade up in the top 15 to take him. And it's just like, and I saw someone say, y'all were scared Denver would get him. Let Denver get him. Let Denver get him. I just watched Spencer Rattler with no offensive line make dime after dime after dime throw at South Carolina. Take him in the second. You want to talk about someone who's fought through adversity, someone who's had to have a real look in the mirror at am I going to be able to do this the way I am, or am I going to have to make changes? He made changes. Take Dallas in the first round, keep your draft capital, and then maybe trade for 2 or 3 second-round picks. Take Spencer Rattler. You have Jermaine Burton still on the board. You still have you could have done so much great work in the second round, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to get your take on this, Coach, because I don't want to keep you here forever if you need to go. But I like talking to you. So
yes, sir.
I'm going to keep you here as long as I possibly can. Kevin Lynch says, Sean and Ty, what do y'all think about the Panthers wide receiver pick up to give Bryce another? I like Leggett. What do you think, Coach?
I mean, he has size. To me, he has great size and speed combination. But he was only a one year full-time starter, right, at South Carolina. He'll have some comparisons to Adonai Mitchell, even Lad McConkey, as far as the careers are unfolded. But here's the thing: I believe this kid will have a better NFL career than he did in college. He has an opportunity to come to Carolina and fit in an offensive scheme that I think benefits him. Bryce will get rid of the ball quick, that West Coast offense. I think he'll have a much better career in the NFL than he did at South Carolina, trying to turn that kid into something that he's not. I don't think Carolina's finished. I think they're going to get Bryce a couple of weapons. So I do like the pick here. If I could put my Sean Stradamus hat on real quick, I expect Carolina to go all in on offense in this draft. I expect them to have more offensive picks than they do defensive picks, because Bryce, to have a quarterback of Bryce's potential and not surround him with talent is an abomination, right? And I really do think the coach that they have understands that, unlike Frank Reich, who tried to make Bryce into what's the Falcons' old quarterback?
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan, and that's just not Bryce's game. That's not Bryce's game. Never have been. Bryce is an RPO guy that can throw out the RPOs, quick passes, and can hit you deep on play action. I do expect the Carolina Panthers to go all in on offense, and I do like the pick. So, Ty, listen, bro, I've intruded on you long enough, my brother. I will be listening to you. I'll be tapped into you as I always am. Much love to the undefeated. Shout out to Kareem Hood, man. Kareem Hood 40, my broski. I'll be tapped in listening to you guys as always, brother. Love your takes. Love the undefeated will tell you my infatuation with your takes and with your segments. I love it. Thank you guys for supporting me, for coming back, man. I appreciate everybody, man. Love you guys to death. And until
Before
next
you get
episode,
out of here, Coach, do you mind if I hop and I'll be 5 seconds? I just need to turn on the fan or some air because
go ahead, brother. I got your back.
Like it gets hot, so
I got your back, brother. Go ahead, take your time. I got you. So yeah, guys, I think the Panthers will go all in on it, man. They got to. You got to give Bryce some help, man. First off, you got to get him some people to protect him, right? It's no excuse for Bryce to take the licks, the hits, the punishment that he took last year. That was ridiculous, right? We got to get Bryce some help on the offensive line, man. We got to get him some help. We got to get him somebody to protect his blind side, right? You already know Adam. Much love, Adam. You know how he do, brother. EJ Riggs, my broski. We got to get somebody to protect Bryce's blind side. He's a right-handed quarterback. I think Bryce is right-handed, right?
Yeah.
He's a right-hand quarterback, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we got to get him a left tackle. We got to get him a left tackle, man, because Bryce may possibly have had the worst offensive line in the NFL. That's a whole fact. So we got to protect him, and I think they will do that, man. I really do. Ty, much love to you, my brother. Roll Tide to all the coaches. Shout out to Coach Jay. If you guys see Coach Jay on today, make sure you ask him how he feels about the Bills trading out, which allowed the Chiefs to pick up Xavier Worthy. Tyreek Hill, deep route number 2. Dude run a 4.27. Why the hell is he on the Chiefs? That's terror for the whole NFL, right? Bad for the whole NFL, brother.
I saw that and I was like, what the heck is happening?
Exactly. Likewise, man. Likewise. But shout out to you, Ty. I'll be tapped in to you, brother.
Appreciate you, Coach. And anytime I get to sit here and talk with you, Coach, it is just a blessing. Love our segments where we can roll together.
Yes, sir, man. Roll Tide to you and roll Tide to the undefeated.
Roll Tide, Coach. One more time, everybody, for Coach Sean. I really can't tell y'all how much I appreciate the few times, and it doesn't happen as much as I would like, but the few times where Coach Sean and I have that intersection, I mean, it is absolutely a treat. I love sitting here talking to that guy. I love picking his brain. I mean, he has got such a wealth of football knowledge, and anytime I can get with him, ask questions, and you in the undefeated, you see it. Anytime I'm with Sean, I'm asking questions. because I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn as much as I can, as quickly as I can, and what better way to do it. Shout out to everybody in the Undefeated. We got Zachary, we got Rocket, Chris, Marquita, Shane, Nicole, Adam, Ebony, Brian, Kareem, Joseph. Who else we have? Jay Williamson. In New York had the worst O-line, and Evan Neal made us look terrible. You're not wrong. You could flip a coin on that one. Jay Williamson. That's, yeah. Brian in here. Chris, lucky Bryce survived. Yeah, that offensive line was terrible. Absolutely awful. Bryce is better than all the quarterbacks that got drafted. I mean, you guys know I'm very biased towards Bryce. Kareem said you should be a GM, Ty. No, I'm not smart enough. And listen, I know that. I would lose my marbles. I'd be off my gourd night 2. Just, they'd have to hit me with Valium in the second night. Just being like, we picked who? Yeah, it'd be bad. It'd be real bad. Truth, unbelievably blessed to have him over here. I think the Panthers are taking the Saints approach with Drew Brees, secure the middle of the line first to the shorter. I don't disagree with this, King Mario. I don't disagree with this at all. I think it's a different way to look at it, but it certainly does make sense. We have to acknowledge the importance of a tackle, but you make a really good point that I didn't even think of. I really like this insight right here, King Mario. This is a great comment because it's thought-provoking, right? It's okay. They needed wide receiver help. They just need help. That's the thing with Carolina. It's they just need help. I don't care whether it's off the line in the wide receiver. They need help. They need help, and they need it bad. I'll tell you who I loved their draft. I loved Detroit. I think Detroit pairing Terry and Arnold back with Brian Branch. I mean, that right there is going to be a lot of fun. Detroit has been making, ladies and gentlemen, Detroit has been making some solid draft picks here the last few years. They've been making some really solid draft picks here the last few years, especially in the first round. Right, Ty? Yeah, they need everything. And while, listen, I agree. I would like it to be in the line. I don't what linemen are we just super excited about that you would take in that position? I'm sure there are some. I'm not saying that there are none. But I mean, this is an open-ended question to the Undefeated. Y'all know me. I'm far more versed in college football, and especially as I've continued to expand my content, expand my presence, less and less smart in terms of the NFL stuff. But I always operate with the assumption, keep it simple, stupid. And that's how I feel. It's wild. It's time to retire. Forget football. Let's talk about the Lakers and the GOAT. I didn't watch the game last night, man. I was watching the draft, and I saw I saw my Vikings first pick, and I had to go outside. I sat out back, and I just lit up a stogie. And I was like that meme of, God, what's his name? He's with J-Lo. That dude. Where he's smoking the cigarette. Now, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I did have a cigar out there just standing sad in the backyard. It was not fun. And then when they drafted Dallas Turner, I had the other meme of just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. But who knows? I really hope I'm wrong. I really, really, really hope I'm wrong. I will say this, ladies and gentlemen. I am one of those people. Don't get me wrong. Nobody likes being wrong. But there are some times where I pray to the Most High. Please let me be wrong. Please let me be shown to be an absolute moron in 3 years. That would make me so happy. Detroit, hey, that was a great crowd, wasn't it? Great environment. Great environment. Now, I'll tell you something crazy. I was at the NFL draft when it was in Dallas. And I got a cool story about this too, right? I got a really cool story about this. So we went out to the NFL draft when it was in Dallas, right? And we, you know, my old roommate at the time, actually, ironically enough, he was a cornerback that played for Pete Golding at UTSA whenever Pete Golding was out at UTSA. And he was the one that's kind of planted this idea in my head that like, hey, and this is his words, he was like, hey, I think Saban held on to Pete Golding for so long because he sees viability in the future in Golding's defense. But, and once again, this is his words. He was like, but I just don't think that defense is SEC ready now. And Saban was trying to implement some of the things that Golding was doing. And PJ, my former roommate who played cornerback, he was saying like, hey, I think that in a few years, there are going to be aspects of that defense that are fine. But like, it's too soon right now, and it's just trying to force things. So, PJ's a big Rams fan. Since I've known the guy, has been the only Rams fan I've ever known. Right? Only Rams fan I've ever known has been diehard Rams back when they sucked. I mean, they just were terrible. Someone said JJ is not... Hey, Hot, I agree with you, my man. I agree with you. I understand that they needed a quarterback and that quarterbacks were flying off the board. Save your draft capital. Get Spencer Rattler in the second round. If you go back and watch Spencer Rattler's film this past year, and I understand he's a contentious figure, but if you go back and watch his film at South Carolina, their line was dog water. It was awful. I say dog water. I wouldn't give that water to my dog. It was terrible. Their offensive line was terrible, and Spencer Rattler was dropping dimes out there. They were not losing on behalf of Spencer Rattler. Right? He was the reason they were winning. He had a crazy good year last year. Take him in the second. Save your draft capital. Take more picks. I don't care about the Lions. They suck. Hey, I care a little bit about them, Kimberly, now that they got some Bama boys on there. I care about them a little bit. Now, only so much. Right? You can only care about them so much. But I care about them a little bit. Just because they've got Branch, they've got some Bama guys on there, and of course, I'm going to always be rooting for them. I was starting this thing where I was getting NFL jerseys for the Bama guys, and it just became too much. WT, I would actually lose my mind. I will live stream my reaction if they do that, because y'all are going to need me to talk me off the edge. I will be livid if they do that. Not because they drafted Spencer, obviously, because you gave up so much to draft JJ. And it's like, if you were going to do this, why not just trade up at the second round, get the first pick of the second round, and take Spencer Rattler? I don't know. But let me finish this story about the draft when it was in Dallas. So it's me, my roommate, PJ, who's a Rams fan. He's got his Rams jersey on. I've got my Vikings jersey on. And then we had one of my fraternity brothers with me. And he's a big-time Chicago fan, right? So we all are walking back to the car. And this lady stops us. And she wants to start talking to us. And so we start talking to her. She's sweet as can be. Just absolutely sweet as can be. And she wanted a picture, specifically with me and my fraternity brother, because I had the Vikings jersey on. She was in a Green Bay jersey. And my friend that was in my fraternity, he's a big Bears fan. He grew up in Chicago and came out here for college. So we start talking. We get this picture. And we're there for maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes talking to this woman. And after a while, she pulls out her phone and she says, hey, if you don't mind, would you mind if I FaceTime my son? I think that he would really get a kick out of this. We said, sure, by all means. It was Ty Montgomery's mom. We were sitting there talking to Ty Montgomery's mom, and then we ended up on a FaceTime call with Ty Montgomery. It was really cool. I've always remembered that. So that was always a really cool moment for the draft, getting to meet Ty Montgomery's mom. Getting to talk to her. And then she called her son. So, cool moment. Cool moment. Only time I've ever been out to the draft, but that was really cool. Anybody see that Cosby committed to Wake Forest? I haven't, Caleb. Yeah, boy, how do you tell me about it? Being married to a teacher? The stories I hear, it's ridiculous. It makes me so angry what my wife goes through on a daily basis. Everybody says I'm definitely getting that. Oh yeah, that's a must-have. I always look back on that with fond memories, man. Let me see what we can't do here. I'm trying to pull this picture up. All right. It's fighting me. But really cool moment. I was trying to pull the picture up to show y'all, but StreamYard doesn't want to see me shine. Ty, the fact that your wife got Teacher of the Year, she has students throw things at her, kick her, punch her, and the craziest thing about it, Adam, is back in my day. Now, I went to Catholic school. I was taught by some nuns, and they would put B to A. You know what I mean? Like you did not mess up. But she'll send the kids, first grade, Dino. She'll send the kids to the office. Like the kid will cuss her out, say F you, call her the B word, kick her. She'll send them to the office. They send the kid back 15 minutes with a lollipop. And then they're like, oh, we don't know why little Timmy keeps doing this. And I'm like, because you're encouraging the behavior. You send them to the office. The principals talk to them. Oh, Timmy, why'd you kick the teacher? Why'd you cuss them out? And then they give them a lollipop. They give them candy and send them back to the room 15 minutes later. And then people are surprised whenever the kids aren't acting right. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, but the administration is encouraging this behavior. I feel so sorry for my wife. She is the sweetest person, but it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Yeah, first graders. She got cussed out by a first grader last year. Got called every word under the sun other than a child of God. Got called everything. Now, granted, it's a Title I school. You know what I mean? So it's like we grew up in Title I schools. But I don't care. Let me see. It just came in. Tossed a 50 spot to Coach Sean. Don't want to leave out the undisputed champ of college football debates. Thanks for what you do, Ty. Kevlar, the Weld Warrior, reclaim your brain. Thank you so much for the donation, man. Thank you so much. That means the world. Coach Sean is unbelievable. Me being able to be on this platform, being able to spend time with all of you, it's a blessing. It truly is a blessing. And I look forward to it every single day. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the time, Kevlar. Thank you so much for the time. It truly does mean the world. Not only the donations, the interactions, the support. I can't articulate how much it means. The only thing I can tell you is truly from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. It means the world. Oh, the parents. Yeah, awful. Awful. But neither here nor there. Let's talk some football. You've been a member for 17 months, Kevlar? Goodness gracious. Okay, I'm going to make a note of this. We need to have something for members who have been around for a long time. We're going to ride this puppy until the wheels fall off. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And Adam, here's the thing, man. I'm not even saying, like, the kids need what I had. Because, like I said, I got taught by some nuns. You know what I mean? So, like, but keep them in the office. Like, there's not in-school suspension anymore. There's not. And so they just get sent back to the classroom, and then it continues. The problem is the parents. It's iPad parenting. I've been a member for 3 months. That's awesome, Kimberly. You guys in the undefeated are truly undefeated, but we're going to have to figure out a way. Something like if you've been a member for 12 months, certainly been a member for 17 months, we need to make sure you guys get something. We need to make sure you guys get something. I'm making a note of this. I'm sorry for the pause. If you guys, I'm big on notebooks and writing. It helps me keep my brain in order, because if not, it just goes. So I definitely want to talk to Kyle about that, Kevlar. We gotta have something for you guys. Unbelievable. Truly, man. It's awesome. So, talking about some football, we got a visitor coming in this weekend via the transfer portal. We got a visitor coming in this weekend. Break out the ruler in a hot second. Let me tell you what. I became accustomed to that ruler. What? Did they really, Dwight? Wait. Why? Why? Why'd they do that? That's wild. When the transfer portal closed the 30th, but Dino, and this is something that I think is very pertinent. I want everybody to know. The transfer portal closes on the 30th, but it can take a few days for your paperwork to process. Sorry, I had a hiccup. So don't be shocked if the few days after the 30th you see names popping up in the transfer portal. They're still eligible for immediate eligibility. You just have to have your paperwork submitted by the 30th, but then once it processes to the NCAA, it can take, I believe, 48 to 72 hours. So for a few days after, you might see some names hitting the transfer portal. And it's all good. And Caleb makes a great distinction here. You do not have to commit by the 30th. As long as your name is there, you're good to go. You can do whatever. Who do I think Kool-Aid goes to? I have no idea, man. I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned that he didn't go in the first round. I mean, I came on here every day this week, and I've had some little comment, some little segment being like, it's going to be a travesty if he falls to the second round, and he did. And I don't understand it. I don't know why. Someone says, why are they sleeping on Kool-Aid, though? I have no reasons. I have no reasons. I can't think of it. Now, no cornerback is perfect, but I think the reason I'm so confused is Kool-Aid, it feels like, is being punished for not putting up a bunch of gaudy stats this past year. But ladies and gentlemen of the undefeated, if you are a cornerback and they are not testing you, you're not going to put up stats. That's the ultimate compliment. One of the reasons why Terrion Arnold was so highly valued is because he was tested. People didn't want to throw to Kool-Aid's side. What coach came out? The undefeated will know this. The undefeated. What coach came out? Was it Brian Kelly that came out after the game and straight up said, they were like, oh, well, why didn't you guys do this? And he said, oh, well, Kool-Aid is out there and he shuts down half the field. You don't even test him. What coach said that? A coach came out this year and said, with Kool-Aid out there, you don't even test that side of the field. You got to look elsewhere. I can't remember what coach said that. But after Alabama played, and for whatever reason, I think it was Brian Kelly, but I feel like I'm wrong saying that. I'm not quite sure who it was, but after Alabama played a game, they were talking to them. I think you're right. I think it was BK. I feel like it was, but at the same time, I just have this innate feeling inside of me being like, no, you're wrong. I don't know why. But for off the top of my head, if I felt like it was Brian Kelly. I felt like it was. Bama plays this team. They win. And then in the post game, the guy was like, oh, yeah, well, that defense made it tough for us because you don't even test Kool-Aid. He said, so we didn't even look at that side of the field. They didn't throw it his way once. And so, listen, don't get me wrong. Terrion Arnold really progressed this year because teams weren't looking at Kool-Aid's side. So they tested his side and then realized you're not going to have much success over there anyways. Hot Like says Kool-Aid lost stock because of his punt returns. He's not going to be a punt returner in the NFL. So if I was a GM, I wouldn't even worry about that. I'm not worried about what you did on punt return. It wasn't great, I grant you that. But, I'm not worried about what he did on punt return because I'm not going to put him back there. But to have a coach come out and say, we don't even test his side of the field. It was an SEC coach. I do know that much. To have an SEC coach come out and say that and then drop the guy, I don't get it. That to me is one of the most perplexing things. Now, someone makes a great point. Brian Branch slipped to the second round last year, too. This is very true. And I have a feeling it wasn't. Maybe it was. Let me see. Let me see. I don't know if I can find it. It's not popping up, but I know that there was a coach. There was a coach after the game came out and was like, yeah, we didn't even test his side. I don't know, man. I can't tell you why Kool-Aid dropped. I can't tell you why. Was it Harbaugh? Maybe it wasn't an SEC coach, but it was a big-name coach because I remember hearing the coach saying it and sitting back in my chair and being like, holy cow, that's high praise from that guy. Oh, that still sucks. Dwight says they didn't actually make read option illegal. They made it illegal for the quarterback to hand the ball off in front, so the read option to ride the running back is going to be a penalty. Why, though? Yeah, there's got to be something, Adam. There's got to be something. It's something I'm not seeing. Maybe it was Kiffin. I don't know. Maybe it was Kiffin. That does sound like something Kiffin would say. But I just know it was a coach that when they said it, I was like, coming from that guy. That's high praise. So it was an accomplished coach. Either a coach that has really high upside or a coach that has accomplished a whole lot. And that's why at first I thought it was BK, Brian Kelly. because I just specifically remember thinking, one, that was a really telling comment, and two, man, that's a coach that's seen a lot of football. I'm not crazy in that, am I? Like, a coach actually said that. Does anybody in the Undefeated actually remember that being said, or am I just crazy? He was coming up. Okay, Jacob, this is a solid point right here, Jacob. This is actually, you know what? This is the only thing that makes sense. Thank you very much for this. This is why the Undefeated is undefeated. He says, doesn't he have a foot fracture? He was having surgery. He still ran very well, but if I'm really trying to find a reason he was dropped, maybe that was it. That's actually the only thing that makes sense to me. So I think you're probably really well placed in saying that. Thank you very much for that, Jacob. I'd completely forgot about that. Let's talk about Ed Woods this weekend. Alabama's getting in a visitor. Arizona State cornerback Ed Wood. Okay, Adam, so you remember it being said too. I would guess maybe Kiffin or maybe Josh Heupel. Moon says he remembers it as well. My brother in Christ, we are the same. I wasn't going to say it, but I remember. I remember a pasty old man from the mountains of Caucasus saying it. But that doesn't narrow it down any. Hell, at this point, it's eligible to have been me. Because I fit the bill. Pasty and white. Oh, no. That's funny. Let's talk about Ed Woods. Let's talk about Ed Woods. So, yeah, I can't either, Ricky. I can't either. I've been searching. But I'm just happy other people in the Undefeated remember something along those lines. An elder descendant of Caucasus voiced his thoughts. Yeah, it was one of the founding members. An elder. That's a crazy description of it. That's a crazy description of it. Josh Upton says, I'll pass on Ed. Why, Josh? Interested in hearing your thoughts on this. Bacon with soy sauce. Still haven't tried it. I had a bacon, egg, and cheese omelet. That's a crazy description still. But Josh, very interested in hearing your take on Ed Woods. Because I would not be mad at all if they added him in. But I'm interested in hearing any sort of counter thoughts. I easily could have missed something. Very interested in hearing your thoughts on that. Here's what I can say about Ed Woods. I would direct everybody to go watch the second half against Washington. Partially because he didn't play the first half, and then two, you're all busy people. But going to watch that half of that game is doable. All right? Going to find that half of a football game, that's doable. That's something that can be done. First series, he made his presence felt instantly. Tackle off the rip, strip tackle the second time. The only time he got beat is when he was press man against Rome Odunze. You know what I mean? Like that's not an easy ask to be one-on-one with Rome Odunze and press man. He's going to win a lot of those battles. And then even in some of them, Ed Woods was there. But Josh says, just in my opinion, I want someone with more production if we take anyone else like the young guys there already. Hey, I don't disagree with you here. Right, Josh? This is actually a very similar take to what I had on Greedy Vance. So I understand completely where you're coming from. And if you are of the mindset of like, hey, I'm good with passing on him for this reason right here, I might differ from you a little bit, but you're not wrong. And you're certainly well placed in saying this because I had a very analogous take for Greedy Vance. Now, the difference to me was Greedy Vance only started 4 games for Florida State, and he was battling for his position. Ed Woods wasn't battling. Ed Woods was out there and he had established himself as like a guy on Arizona State. Plus, he has a lot of versatility. Whereas when I look at Greedy Vance, I really hope he goes out to USC and is able to make an impact on that defense. That would make me very happy. It would really do a lot for his prospective draft stock if he is to go to the NFL. But he needs to go out there and become the guy at USC on a surging defense. And the reason why I was like, okay, are you going to be able to hold off the guys we have for a season? I don't know. Hot Like says, can he beat out Saban Brown, though? That's a good question, man. That's a good question. Listen, you guys know how high I am on all of those cornerbacks Nick Saban signed. I called them Nick Saban's parting gift. They're incredible. A lot of great talent. What I do like about Ed Woods, though, is he has got a knack for contact. He is perfectly fine with initiating contact. I mean, he will bust your head. 2, Washington tried to run some things whenever he came in there to confuse him. Right? He had him. They were trying to run some like switch routes on Ed Woods and the guy that was playing interior cornerback. I'm not sure who it was, and I apologize for that. I'm not sure who the young man's name who was inside of Ed Woods on this play. And Ed Woods, the second he identified what was happening, he was screaming at the cornerback on the inside, hey, don't follow, switch. And they picked up the route beautifully. And that right there was impressive to me because it's one thing to be experienced, but it's another thing to actually utilize the experience you have. And I thought he did that. So I like Ed Woods. I would be very fine adding him in. I think that he is experienced. I think he's shown to use that experience well. He's physical, so it's not like I'm worried about, oh, he's a Pac-12 defensive back. Is he going to cut it in the SEC? Yeah, he can cut it in the SEC. He has got a nose for the football. He treats everything like a nail, and he's a hammer. He wants to hit, and he wants to hit people hard. Very talented. Very talented. Eagles getting Kool-Aid in the second round, steal of the draft. That would be the steal of the draft, Tay. That would be a steal. I also think Jace is going to be one of the diamonds of the draft, man. I think Jace McClellan. And I've had this take for a while. Like, you can go back and look at my takes. And I've had this take for a while. That I think Jace McClellan is going to be one of the diamonds in the draft. Let me see. I got a lot of notifications via Twitter right now. And that always is alarming. When I look and I have like 15 or 20 notifications on Twitter, and it's like, oh boy, what's happening? Especially with the transfer portal. To the point is, you're a full moon, Raka. Oh, not I don't know who it was that voted him that, Josh, but I do know at the All-American game they were gushing. Absolutely gushing over Saban Brown, saying that he looked so technically ready. That he was the most technically advanced defensive back in the class. So very good. Jermaine says, Ty, I would rather put Ed Woods at safety and move Malachi back to Husky and roll with Saban Brown and Hurley as our nickel. You could do it. That's one of the good things about having guys with versatility. Right? That's one of the great things about having guys with versatility. This is what I always mean. And Saban Moonrock, I can't look at what you say right now. I knew the second I said that someone was going to jump on it, and I just had this sneaking suspicion in the back of my head that it was going to be you. And you did not disappoint, in fairness. So, you are a man of consistency, if nothing else. And for that, I thank you. I thank you for your consistency. Jimmy says we rock with you too. I love y'all. I love y'all. Y'all make it difficult. In a good way. In a very, in a good way. Y'all make it difficult. But Saban said something last night on the draft that I made a note of, because I was like, that is exactly what I mean whenever I talk about having versatility, getting versatility, and how it allows you to min-max rooms. It's part of the reason why I'm so excited about Zay Mincy, is because I think that he is really versatile, and that versatility can really help. What Saban said is like, okay, when they were asking and talking to him about Terrion Arnold, and he's like, oh, Terrion's going to be an outside guy. Play him on the outside. And then he said, hey, we played him a lot on the inside this year because that was the easiest way for us to get the best 6 defensive backs on the field. And that to me was just like, that's exactly what I'm talking about when I'm like, it pays so much to have guys with versatility, because that's what I mean when I say min-maxing your roster. Yes, Arnold might be an outside guy, right? True. But because he's so versatile, you can play him on the inside, and it allows you to maximize what you do everywhere else. That's what you have to have. You have got to have that versatility. And I thought Saban eloquated the point that I always try and make so much better than I ever could. And that's why he's Saban and I'm me, right? He eloquated what I've always been trying to say so much better than I could ever hope to. But that's the point whenever you guys hear me say, oh, versatility allows you to min-max rooms, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I was meaning. It's like, yes, Arnold is an outside cornerback. He's going to excel there, but he has got so much versatility. You can play him on the inside, and it allows you to maximize everything you do outside of it. That's exactly what I mean. And that's why, Josh, to a certain degree, I really like Ed Woods, because he has that versatility. Now, I'll tell you who I really want to see them go after. Roll Tide, Ronnie. I really want to see them go after Anthony Johnson Jr. from Western Kentucky. I really want to see them go after Anthony Johnson Jr. from Western Kentucky. He was, I think, had the 4th highest coverage grade in the nation last year. One of the few guys with above a 90 coverage grade. Experienced, really productive. I really like his game. Now, if you're asking for any downsides, Western Kentucky is Western Kentucky. I'm not taking shots at them, but the SEC is a different level. SEC is a different level. Yeah, Saban was unbelievable, wasn't he? Wasn't he? Incredible. There's a reason, guys, why I, low-key study Saban. All right, I have the book on him here. I have several books that, at least at some level talk about Nick Saban, because I think he's one of the more fascinating people. And he's one of those people that, as great as he was as a football coach, you also have to wonder, if you didn't do this, what impact would you have made on the world? That's not to reduce what he did in football. That's not my point in the slightest. It's just pointing out that he's one of those guys that, someone, who was it, Adam, all Coach Saban does is win in everything he attempts. That's exactly what I mean. It's like if you weren't a football coach, you'd be making an impact in the world at some level, and it'd be fascinating. I would love to meet him. I would love to meet Nick Saban. I'll never forget the first time I ever talked to Josh Pate on the phone. He said that meeting Saban, and he went to Saban was giving a talk, and Josh didn't have a lot of money at the time, and he paid, for him at the time, it was a lot of money, to go listen to Nick Saban talk, and he said it changed his life. I'd give anything to meet him. I was really hoping I'd get to meet him before he retired, but that didn't work out, obviously, right? I'm still doing YouTube, waiting to make it. But he's making it. Oh, no doubt, Auntie, and that's not my point. That's not my point. It's just what would you have done if you never coached football? That's what he did while coaching football. Now just think of what he would have done had he not. And it's not to reduce what he did as a football coach. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT, the greatest football coach ever at the college level. But it's pointing out and underlining what an incredible person he is and his ability to excel. But certainly, Auntie Janet, he's making an impact now. There's no doubt about that. It was just pointing out, like, he was going to do great things no matter what. I've heard Josh Pate tell that story, no doubt. Did you really? I don't think it's like anybody came up with it. It's just GOAT is an acronym, you use for people who you deem to be the greatest of all time. And I certainly believe he's the greatest college football coach of all time. Get on that golf circuit, Ty. You might have a better chance at beating Saban. You're probably right. I used to work at golf courses. I actually loved that job. I loved that job. Oh, you were working that game? That's awesome. That's awesome, Moon Rocco. Yeah, Jimmy, I used to work on golf courses back in college. I loved it. Greatest coach. I mean, you're not going to hear a peep from me. So Bama has some work to do in the transfer portal. I have no idea what that means, Ricky. I have zero idea what that means. But Bama has some work to do in the transfer portal. They've lost a few guys to the transfer portal. We know that they wanted to take an offensive lineman in the transfer portal. We know that they want to take some defensive backs in the transfer portal. And I'm interested to see what they do. Getting in Ed Woods is just the first visit, and I'm surprised it's been the first visit. But I also think that that they thought that there would be some bigger names. Ty, what happened to Hurley? You have any updates? Chris, no, I don't have any updates, man. I've always told you guys I'm no insider. I'm just a guy giving my opinion on college football. I'm the furthest thing from an insider. I'm just one of you with a microphone. That's the only difference between us. Is I just have a microphone and I just ramble into it. I'm no insider. So, I mean, excited for Hurley. Hope that he continues to develop. All that. But I have no, inside updates or insider information on that. I just read tea leaves, my man. I just read tea leaves. And I have fun doing it. But I also, listen, I love when I'm right, but I also very much will enjoy, not all the time. I didn't enjoy being wrong about games this year, certain games, but I do enjoy being wrong. Because I get to learn, right? I get to learn when I'm wrong, and I'm a nerd. I really like learning. If they would pay me to go to school forever and just keep stacking degrees, I would be there. Right? Doing international relations, doing stuff like that. I love learning. Moon Rocket, it's because I'm stubborn as a mule. That's the only reason. I will bash my head into poles. And I'm serious. I really would. If they gave me a full-time salary to just continue going to school, learning, I absolutely would. I thought about one of my last years of college. If I wasn't so late, I wanted to switch to physics, do a physics major because I took a physics solar system class. And it was amazing. I learned how much I loved physics in that class. And then I was like, man, I only have 1 year left, so I can't switch majors, but damn, I'd love to do physics. Gosh, my old man typing is getting bad. my young typing is bad. Don't you feel bad about that? I can't name one, Larry. I certainly hope so, Ronnie. Certainly hope so. Thank you very much, Ricky. Thank you very much. Any word on Brockermeyer, where's he's headed? Once again, Kosi, this is just it's just my opinion. But I think TCU makes a lot of sense. His brother is a student at TCU, I believe. I know he medically retired from football. They played in Fort Worth. He'd be back around family. TCU to me makes a lot of sense. But once again, that's just me reading tea leaves, and it's not even a particularly good reading of the tea leaves because it just makes so much sense, right? In kinesiology or veterinarian. See, that would be super interesting. I know my dad wanted to be a veterinarian, and they ended up leaving college before he graduated, but he didn't go to vet school. He ended up being a professor and then moved to work at horse ranches, which his story makes no sense. Only thing I know is that he named, someone mentioned his brother was helping coach at TCU. Is he helping there? I know he's a student. I know he medically retired, but good for Tommy. If that's the case, good for Tommy. Really like to hear that. It's always sad when someone, has their dreams cut short due to injury, stuff like that. So I certainly hope he's still around the game. As long as I don't have to go to Auburn. Yeah, 100%. Just heard it. Yeah, I hope it's true. I hope it's true, David. That'd be awesome. Good morning, John. Jimmy says physics is awesome because, physics was awesome. I loved that class so much. Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much. I'll pay you to go to my classes. Don't you tempt me with a good time, Josh. Don't you tempt me with a good time. I'll be there. And you know me, Josh. The problem with me is I'll go in costume. I have no shame. Or I mean, I will get someone. Because certainly I've never came on here in costume. It's never been me. Never been me. I can source someone. And they won't be in costume. No, it's actual real life appearance. Never me. It's not me. I certainly wasn't Grandalf nor Blaze. Those are two separate individuals. Not me. But maybe I could source one of them. They have no shame. That's why I was rooting for Trey Sanders. Oh, man, I was really hoping. That Trey would go out there. I remember talking to one of the guys that make some content with, and I was like, if Trey rushes for 1,000 yards, I just pray that every night. I wanted Trey to go out there and rush for 1,000 yards and show everybody, hey, I'm still that guy. This is a great comment, Adam. Luke, oh yeah, the older brother. Okay, then yeah, TCU makes sense, David. TCU makes a lot of sense. This is a great comment. Trey is a champion. Trey has got things you can't teach. He has got intangibles you can't teach, and he is a champion. What he went through, the way he continued to push, the way he continued to look forward, never backwards, never stagnant. That's someone you can learn a lot from. And I was really hoping that he'd go out to TCU and rush for 1,000 yards and show everybody how good he is. Because, guys, lest we forget what an unbelievable talent coming out of high school Trey Sanders was. I'm not sure if he has any eligibility left, David. Hey, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I did love writing in college. Did love writing. Down the road from Panama City, where he's from. That's awesome, Chris. Hey, such a great person. I hope so. I just want whatever his dreams are. That's what I want for him. Whatever makes him happy, because he deserves all the happiness. He has gone through so much. He has pushed through so much. He has known nothing but adversity in college. And I'll never forget the day whenever he came back after the car crash and he was in the wheelchair and he was smiling at the team. Whenever he went into the locker room and everybody was giving him hugs and he was smiling. Because he was back with his brothers. And that's a special human being. And it really goes back to something that I think is a great way to end this stream. Nick Saban had an uncanny ability to not only recruit 1% athletes, but recruit 1% humans. I mean, you have Bryce Young, 1% athlete, 1% human. You have Jalen Milroe, 1% athlete, 1% human. You have Jalen Hurts, 1% athlete, 1% human. Devontae Smith, 1% athlete, 1% human. I mean, and that's just to name a few. Trey Sanders, obviously. We're just scratching the surface with that. And I think success is determined in a lot of different ways. Obviously, you have the easiest determinations of success, which is, did you win on the football field? But then whenever we really start getting into the more nuanced aspects of success, there's no way that you can't say that Trey Sanders wasn't successful. He moved people. And the ability to move people, that's an incredibly powerful ability. Whether you move people with your words, whether you move people with your actions, that's power. The ability to make people feel, that's power. That's power. And he had that. And Saban had an uncanny ability to find guys that not only had the ability, but they had an ability outside of the football field to move people. And that's powerful. That's very powerful. Ty, do you think Milroe goes top 10? Who knows, Shane? I think with the development that we could see, he could. Because, I mean, when you look at the quarterbacks coming out next year, there are some interesting names, but you just don't have athletes like Jalen Milroe out there. And if he develops the way I hope he does, the way I think he can, he's in for a huge year. An absolute huge year. I think he would be, Adam. I think he would be. He is a leader. No doubt about it. Milroe is so damn proud of Terry and Les. 100%. 100%. But that's what I mean when I say, like, you have 1% athletes who are 1% humans. It's awesome. I want nothing but the best for Trey Sanders. That one hurt when he left. I pray he kills it this year and makes it to the league. He deserves it. I hope so. I hope so. That's one of the transfers that when he transferred, I was upset. I got it. I understand when I say I was upset, I got it. I understood. But guys like Trey Sanders, man, they don't grow on trees. Let alone his athleticism. I mean, people of that caliber, they don't grow on trees. That optimism, that determination, it's so powerful. Really hope the best for Trey Sanders. From the looks of last night's draft, yeah, listen, you're trading up to get quarterbacks this year. I think Milroe has got all the ability in the world, especially if he develops the way we all believe he will. Mary says, just love Milroe. I do too, man. I do too. Such a great guy. I think Milroe won over fans. Like, even more, if after this season, you were still like, I don't know how I feel about Jalen Milroe, I don't know how he couldn't have won you over. And listen, this isn't to say that you're like, oh, well, I think he needs to improve. Those conversations are fine to have. Those are opinions, right? That's fine. That's fine. That's talking ball. But if you were out on Milroe, I don't know how you could be out on Milroe after everything at Alabama was so chaotic. Nick Saban retires. You've got guys who are supposed to be leaders of this team hitting the transfer portal left, right, and center, not giving this new staff a chance, and in walks Jalen Milroe, stops before he goes in the facility and says, I'm not going anywhere. And I can guarantee you he had offers. I can guarantee you there were teams after him. I guarantee it. I would bet copious amounts of money on it. But he looked at the media whenever everybody was on edge. And he knew, hey, though I can't answer all of your questions, I can answer a major question. I'm not going anywhere. I started this journey. I will finish this journey. And I am going to take it upon myself at some level to ride this out with all of you. When he said, I'm not going anywhere, that's when I was, and y'all already know, I was already in on Milroe. already a massive fan. First off, I've always admitted this. I'm always biased towards the guys that come from Texas. I'm always biased towards the guys that come from Texas, and I'm even further biased if I know people that know the circles in which they run. And with Milroe, I know a guy that trains quarterbacks in Texas, and he didn't work with Milroe. He's more in the North Texas area, but he knows the guys that would like work with Milroe in the offseason in the South Texas area. And whenever he committed, he calls me and he says, Ty, y'all just got something terrifying. He says, y'all just got a human being that is so determined, so dedicated, such a hard worker, so humble, hungry. And he said, and his upside is unreal. Right? And that's a call I got from someone I respect. He didn't work with Milroe, but he knows people that did work with Milroe. And he says, Ty, every time I talk to them, all they do is just talk ad nauseum about Jalen Milroe. All they do is talk about what a great person he is, what a great talent he is. And that was awesome. And I even know some Texas content creators. Shout out Nino's Sport Corner, fantastic content creator. We get together every Wednesday night on the SEC Connect. Would love to have y'all over there. But Nino has said 100 times over and 100 times again that he hated that Texas didn't hold on to Jalen Milroe. That's a guy that loves Jalen Milroe. Texas fan, he bleeds burnt orange. But he loves Jalen Milroe. And every time, if we're on SEC Connect and someone's like, I don't think Jalen Milroe is going to be the guy, Nino will pause the stream. And before I can get to them, he's like, you're off your rocker. You're off your gourd. Milroe is him. Game, recognized game. I love the positivity that Milroe brings to the world and to the game. 100% JS. That's what you want in a leader. You want a leader that's not only going to uplift you, is going to pick you up, but is going to lead by example. Yeah, 100%, Larry. And not only that, guys, we talk about what a great job Saban did. How about the ability now Kalen DeBoer has to recruit off of what he just put into the NFL draft? 3 first-rounders? How many teams out there? I mean, obviously a lot. But how many major teams didn't have a first-rounder? Let alone 2 first-rounders. Let alone 3. Right? Three first-rounders. That's awesome. I mean, you had... I think 3 was the most, like, tied. Obviously, Alabama put in 3, but I don't think anybody had any more than 3, did they? No, I don't think anybody had any more than 3. Oh, maybe LSU 1, 2, 3. LSU had 3. So I think 3 was the tie. LSU also had 3 as well, Adam. So but I don't think anybody had any more than 3. All on offense, 100%. He did, didn't he? Ohio State, what did they have? 2? 1? Which, granted, their 1 was an unbelievable player. Ohio State had 1. USC had 1. Notre Dame had 1. Michigan had 1. Georgia, 2. OU had 1. Clemson had 1. Carolina had 1. Texas had 2. Or no, just 1. Oh, 2. They had 2. So yeah, I mean, 3 was the number to beat. Yeah, but in fairness, Ebony, what a one to have, right? Like, if you're going to put out one first rounder, make sure they're a good one, and what a one to have. That guy is going to be a nightmare. But to this day, it still feels wrong to me that Marvin Harrison's son is now in the NFL. I remember watching Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning and being like, oh my God, they're incredible. And now his son is in the NFL? I still can't believe it. But what a first rounder to have. That guy is going to be a nightmare to cover. I remember watching games at Ohio State, and I was just thinking, Lord have mercy. Just get him the ball. Just figure out a way to get him the ball, and all will be taken care of. Right, Zach? I mean, it's just insane. It's just insane. I remember senior at Syracuse. Hey, before we get out of here, though, Syracuse is doing some stuff in the transfer portal, and understand when I say that, guys, y'all have to remember, whenever you're talking to me, you'll hear other hot take people be like, oh, they're doing something, they're going to win it all. That's never my position. My position is like, hey, if you're doing something, you're doing something. I'll tell you if they're going to win it all. Syracuse isn't winning it all. Syracuse isn't winning their conference. But they have assembled a coaching staff that is really good. They've got some really good recruiters over there on that coaching staff, and they're making moves in the transfer portal. I'm really excited about what Syracuse is doing. Very excited. I will be tuned in very closely to Syracuse football this year. Very excited. Yeah, you're right, Andre. You're right. But I'm very excited about this new coaching staff at Syracuse. I'm very excited about the moves they're making. Great recruiters out there. And yeah, DeBoer was the only coach who had 3 picks in the top 20. I'm telling y'all, Kalen DeBoer is the GOAT. He's incredible. He is absolutely incredible. So happy he's now wearing crimson too. So happy he's wearing crimson. Happy you're wearing crimson now, Ebony. My Colts days were great to watch. Harrison, Wayne, Brandon. Yeah, what a team. It's crazy. Some of my earliest NFL memories are the Colts. Like, some of the memories I have in the NFL that stand out to me the most are those Colts. He did it at Washington. Just imagine with, I know. Now he's got resources. Hey, you're blessed. We, as Alabama fans, are the ones that are blessed, Ebony, that your son committed to Alabama. Let's be 100% honest here. If you feel like you're blessed, now imagine how we, the fans, feel that your son is a part of what he's doing at Alabama. We feel blessed. We feel blessed because he is incredible. I talked about this before. I think I was ever communicating with you through this as the undefeated, right? Before that, I was on lives being like, this kid is different. And then when he went to Bama, I was like, holy cow, we just hit the lottery. So we are the ones that are blessed. So thankful to not only have you a part of, not only for your son to be here. Well, here, I'm in Texas, so not here, right? For your son to be a part of the journey that Kalen DeBoer is having at Alabama. We are blessed for that. But we in the undefeated are also blessed to have you a part of this show every day. You do unbelievable in terms of your support. And it truly is awesome to have you over here every day. You are certainly a bright light over here. I really look forward to every day coming on here and having discourse with you. So we are really the ones that are blessed. And Noah, that goes for you too, man. If you feel blessed, just know that is not Noah. Got it. Well, regardless, we are blessed. We are blessed. Noah will be in that Browns uniform in 2027. And hopefully the Browns have turned it around fully. Hopefully they trade up to get him and he'll be on his way to more success in the NFL. But man, what a special talent. What an unbelievable talent. I remember the first time I watched his tape and I saw him rush off the edge and I was like, okay, yeah, this kid's different. And then I saw him return a punt and I paused it and I was like, okay, I'm almost done with this. I'm almost done with this. What are we doing? This kid's rushing off the edge and then returning punts. What are we doing here? And then I saw the one-handed catch he had, and that's when I was like, all right, that's it. I've seen enough. Sign me up. I don't need to see any more. This is ridiculous. Thank you very much, JS. But listen, I'm just blessed to have this platform, and I don't get this platform without you guys. So, I'm the one that's blessed, right? I'm just a guy with a microphone. And a semi-decent hat. I'll give myself that. Right? I'll give myself that. Got a semi-decent hat, and I'm just a guy with a microphone. I'm the one that's blessed to be here with y'all. Always have a great time over here. Have you checked on... you know what? We haven't texted each other since I had the breakdown to him. I full-on had a breakdown about my Vikings first draft pick, and he comforted me. Not really. He just was like, yes. Yes. I think he enjoyed my sorrow. Which, that's fair. That's fair. He played... I can't imagine. I was tired watching him. I was like, geez, I'm Noah's biggest fan. Hey. Well, you certainly picked a great player to be a fan of, Noah Carter's burner. You certainly picked a great player to be a fan of. Yeah, Andre, this is a great comment because my dad's from out there. My dad's from out there, and I can tell you what, New York is about basketball and about boxing. Because when I go out to New York to kick it with my cousins, like you might find us in Rutgers Park in New York City just watching basketball. I'm not joking. Any given like summer, you might find me in New York City at that park watching basketball. Because anytime I get an opportunity, I'm there. I love New York. But it's also because I have the family ties for there, right? So it's also like... You know. Always great visiting family. But I would love going to New York City with my cousin. And we'd just sit there and watch basketball all day. Like, not even walk around New York City. I actually didn't do touristy things in New York City until the last time I went to New York City with my wife. We went to the Statue of Liberty. We went to the ground zero of 9/11. We did all the touristy stuff. I'd never done that before. I usually would just hop up out of Grand Central Station, come up on whatever street I was nearest to, right? Hop up in the middle of the street, text my cousin and be like, hey, I'm here. And then he would come and pick me up, and then we'd go watch basketball all day. Because he does camps and stuff out in New York City for basketball. As obsessed I am as about football, that's him in basketball. So, great times out there, man. Great times out there. I'm actually going out back this summer to New York. I can't wait. I'll be there in July. I'm very excited for that. I've been in New York City for 19 years, and I don't even do the tourist things. I do love... Hey, JS, it's one of those things whenever I meet people and they're like, I don't like New York City, I'm like, I get it. It is overwhelming. It's a lot of people. It's loud. But, like, I do love that place. I'm going to... Hey, Dino, my man. Yeah, I'll be in upstate New York and New York City in July. What's going on, Juwan? Happy you're in here, my man. I spend a lot of time in upstate New York. Matt Farms, if he was in here, like, he's up by the Finger Lakes. My dad went to college out there. My grandmother lived, I think, 15 minutes from the Vermont border. What to do? Man, what not to do? New York City, I mean, you're not going to have enough time in New York City, to be quite frank with you. But if you go to upstate New York, go see the mountains. They got some great history up there. some great history. Fort Ticonderoga is really cool up there. I'll go out with when my grandmother was alive, we'd go out to Lake George. Go chill out there. Upstate New York is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Like, if I could retire anywhere, it'd probably be upstate New York. It's beautiful. And Adam says upstate New York is beautiful. Yeah, my grandmother lived right in between 3 mountain ranges. And she has a dairy farm up there. This will be the last story before I get out of here, guys. But whenever, like, it was on a rolling hill. So her farm was at the top of the hill. And then everything went down. So right in front, you had this beautiful valley as far as you could see. And you had the Hudson River at a portion of the valley right in front of her. And so you could see the steam in the morning coming off the Hudson. But you also had a situation where you had the mountain ranges in front and then the mountain ranges on both sides. So no matter where you looked from her front porch, it was mountain ranges everywhere. And she's about 20 minutes from some of the, yeah, Andre, it's not a football state. Unfortunately, it's not. I'll tell you something else. How many people in here know about, I think it's Hal Ketchum, the old musician? My dad grew up with him and his brother. They all went to high school together. And so the last time when my dad was alive, actually the year before he passed, we were all in New York. We took a trip to Cornell because that's where I wanted to go to law school. Is Cornell. So I was looking at the fraternity house up there, the Fiji house. I was touring, looking at Ithaca, looking at places to stay up there. That's where I thought I was going to end up at law school. And so he took me to where he went to high school, and he was showing me like, oh, that's where Hal and his brother lived, right there, that house right there. So great memories from upstate New York. Is b-ball, track and field. Football is last, and boxing, John. Because like I said, it's big, but my dad was a boxer. And so whenever I go back home, my family in New York will tell me like, hey, your dad back in the Gap, he got down in some boxing. It's big boxing country out there, which is where my love of boxing comes from, my love of combat sports. Why? If I'm not here, if I'm not watching football, I'm watching combat sports. I love that stuff. So, you guys have been awesome. You hated going up there. Dwight, my man. I'm so sorry. I love it up there. I'm so sorry. But you know, not everything is for everyone. And that's 100% understandable. I love it up there. I also, I've passed out from heat exhaustion so many times here in Texas that, like, at this point, I really struggle with the heat. And so the heat's real hard on me now. I have genuinely passed out from working out in like 110 degrees at the ranch multiple times. And so, yeah, we need a Ty story time segment. I got plenty of them. I got too many of them. That's the problem. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your weekend. I will see you all on Monday. Roll Tide as always. We will keep you updated in terms of any visitors, any news. You can be sure to check out Bama Football on YouTube with Kyle Henderson for all of your Alabama news. If not over here, you guys already know, we might have a special video or two coming back over on Around the Table Sport. Auntie, I don't know about a schedule for tonight. I know that they were working on that. So I can't say for sure whether there is or not. Be on the lookout, but I don't know for sure. Dwight says, I haven't been back up there since my dad passed away. I get that, Dwight. I get that. But if you ever want to go, my man, you just let me know. I'll take you to upstate New York. I'll tell you where we can go. Through upstate New York, Vermont, that drive from Vermont all the way up to like Maine. Maine is sick. Kennebunkport, Maine, sick. Portsmouth, New Hampshire, sick. Awesome places up there. You just let me know, man. We'll be out there. And I'll tell you what, Dwight, I'll tell you what we could do. And you're going to think I'm crazy. I love going to the Saratoga Springs Thoroughbred horse race. And you already know. You and the undefeated already know. I get down out there. You think I don't dress up like I'm at the Kentucky Derby with a full-on suit with the hat and the cane? Come on. I go all out. How's the seafood? Unbelievable. When me and my wife go out there, lobster rolls are just something that you can find at a food truck on the side of the road. And whenever, like, I go to Virginia, we actually go crabbing. But yeah, we'll go to those horse races. I go all the way out. I got the hat. I got the cane. I got the suit. I leave no stone unturned. I go out there to have a good time. And I have a good time. You guys have been awesome as always. See y'all on Monday. Be sure to check out the weekend segment. Any news that comes down, you already know. This is your one-stop shop. If not over here, be sure to go check out Around the Table Sports. That's my personal channel where I upload college football content. All over the place out there. All over. I upload content everywhere. Until next time, I'll see you all on Monday. Roll Tide.